You are listening to the Tipped Out Podcast with your host, Danny Christy from Danny Christy Golf and Brandon Palmer from Balanced Performance Golf. In today's episode, we were able to hop on a call with Remick Carlson, a former D1 golfer turned golf influencer and coach. Some of you may know him as the CEO of Golf from his social media platforms, where he has amassed a significant following through consistent quality golf content that helps golfers all over the world improve their games. We were fortunate to be able to pick Remick's brain and cover a variety of topics from his time at FGCU to his time now as a golf coach and everything in between. Unfortunately, the connection on the call wasn't perfect, so there are some times where the audio doesn't match the video for all our listeners on YouTube. It was a pleasure to have Remick join us, and we hope you can learn as much as we did. Enjoy.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Today's special guest, we have Remick Carlson here today, the CEO of Golf. What's going on, Remick? How are you?
How's it going, guys? Good to see you.
You as well, brother. How was the Valspar? You were out at the Valspar the other day? Was that Thursday?
Dude, it was awesome. A lot of good stuff to take away from. Me and my sister actually went very, very early in the morning. So we got up at like 5 o'clock and left here at like 5:40 because we wanted to be there like for DJ to tee off because he was like at 8:10, I think.
Oh, wow.
And we got there. Funny story. So I guess if you get there early enough, they let you do whatever you want, right? So we got there and not even thinking that there's like special parking for spectators, right? We got there, we went into the front gate, like kind of where the players enter, and we were going to watch the tournament. And it's not a line, right? Like we were just completely honest. And then they gave us a parking pass, which is absolutely absurd. We were able to park like a street across from the clubhouse.
Wow.
So it was awesome. So we had direct access to there, and we were like one of like there was probably only like 100 people there at the time that we ended up going. So I was like 5 feet away from DJ for like the first couple holes, and during when he was practicing his chipping, getting ready for the day. But yeah, it was awesome. A lot of cool stuff. I have a ton of video that I have been pretty lazy about editing recently. So need to get on that this weekend and start posting a little bit more.
Yeah, man. As a coach and a influencer and a coach, man, the work never stops. We've talked about that before. But so just to get a little more background on Mr. Remick here, man, we'd love to kind of hear a little bit about yourself, maybe your little background in your college golf, and then kind of what got you to where you're at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started playing golf like very young when I was like 5 years old. Didn't really get serious until I was 12-ish or so. Played other sports growing up. Was pretty into soccer. My dad's a professional soccer player, so former professional. So, I wasn't good at soccer. I had big flat feet. So I had like size 12 shoes when I was in like the 5th grade. So I was like tripping over my own feet as I was running. So they stuck me back at defender, and I just got bored playing because I wasn't good for one, and number two, I just defense isn't very fun. It's fun to score goals, right?
Yeah.
But so I gravitated towards golf just because I was good at it, and it was something fun to do with my dad because my dad was learning at the same time I was. So we both were getting out there late at night, spending hours chipping green, putting green, whatever it may be, to get a little bit better than what we were yesterday. And I just love the process of it and stuff. Got pretty good. Started playing tournaments when I was like 13 or so. And then, funny enough, reached out to IMG Academy. I had pretty good success as a junior golfer when I very first started. And they ended up giving us a percentage off to go to school there. So, and my dad ended up moving jobs over to Florida, so it all worked out. So we all moved over, packed everything from LA all the way over to Bradenton, Florida, right? Just crazy move. And then we were there when I was like 16 or so, and went to high school at IMG. Ended up getting a scholarship to University of Utah, which is where my parents went, funny enough. Really loved it. The school was awesome. It's just, and I committed pretty late too. So kind of rewind a little bit there.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good freshman, sophomore year when I was at IMG. But my junior year, for some reason, I couldn't hit the ball on the planet. And I would shoot like 80s. Like I shot in the 90s. Like it was bad. Like so I was losing like starts before I had a full I forget what it's called. When you get like full access to the AJJ or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Or you don't have to work. I forget how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But I had full access. I was a sophomore, and then I played so bad as a junior in high school that I lost all status. I didn't have many stars really, so I had to focus on like qualifying for tournaments, like doing that route again. So I didn't end up signing to college until April of senior year, which is pretty late considering like IMG, like all that stuff. Like all my friends were like full ride to Arkansas, Auburn, Cal, like I'm like, geez, like I'll be lucky to get a JUCO gig at this rate. But like I was beyond blessed to like run into Coach McCracken, good dude, great school, love the school. So I committed to University of Utah like out of the blue, without taking a visit or anything. So that's why I kind of went backwards a little bit. But so my first couple of years, it was pretty decent. We had a very good team, and I played a couple tournaments here and there. Just wasn't really. I was getting better, but I wasn't really enjoying it just because we had to hang the clubs up in like October and pick them back up in March. And funny enough, we actually had tournaments in February that we had to travel to. So ended up traveling to tournaments. I mean, touched the club for like 4 months or so. Coming from California and Florida, you're just like, what the hell is this? Oh, wait, can you curse on it?
Yeah, upstate New York's the same way, man. It was tough. College in New York was tough.
Can you curse on here or no?
Yeah, for sure.
No-go? Okay, just I have to worry about because I'm a potty mouth, so I gotta worry about that. But yeah, anyways, it just fucking sucked. Like hanging the clubs up and having like, I'm not a video game guy. Like I hate playing video games. I hate staying inside. I'm super outdoorsy, and our college didn't allow us to ski or anything, even though we kind of snuck out like a handful of times. But it didn't allow us to ski, so we were stuck inside, and I was just like, what the heck am I doing right now? Fortunately enough, one of my buddies from high school, James Lepiter, transferred to FGCU. So he was at Arkansas but prior, and then ended up transferring to FGCU. Had the coach contact me, like under the table, like I wasn't even like on the wherever transfer portal yet. So I don't know how legal this is. He might get in trouble, but he's not working, so. But so he contacted me illegally to seeing if like I was interested to go there, because I told my buddy that just transferred there that I was interested, and it's just the coach wanted a kind of confirmation. And then so I kind of under the table committed, and then hit the transfer portal, and then committed like a day later. So it might have seemed a little fishy on the university's part, but I mean, I just wanted to get the heck out of there as soon as possible. So then I hiked all my stuff over to FGCU, ended up rooming with my buddy, and I had a pretty decent like junior, senior year at FGCU. It's just brutal like home course that we had to play. I'm a scrambler, so like my accuracy isn't very good off the tee. I just hit it long ways, and I end up finding it and somehow getting a par or birdie sometimes, like if I'm lucky, right? But like, so we ended up playing Old Corkscrew as our home course, and I can't keep it on the map. So first like couple rounds there are miserable. I was shooting like 85s, 84s. So just like I don't know how the heck I'm going to qualify to play on the team. But then I ended up getting a 2-iron, which was like almost a godsend, honestly. Like I hit that thing probably like I wore a spot. I had to like get a new 2-iron every year just because I wore like such a thick spot on the club that like, and like honestly, it changed my game, my college career, and I was able to actually play decent golf because I was able to put it in play. Like I'm not going to go that far to say I increase my fairway percentage. I'm just get me in play, like right, like get me in play so I can give myself an opportunity to at least get some sort of good score at the end of this hole. Excuse me. But yeah, so really enjoyed it. Partied a little bit too much, honestly. Like FGC is like not the most scholastic university. So everybody time right by the beach, good scenery, good people. So we all had a grand old time there. We had a great house too. Looking back at it, we called it the golf house, and we had like a group of 5 of
There you
us from the team in there, and we had a lot of people over, a lot of good times and stuff. We'll get into that a little bit on later during this conversation, maybe. But yeah, I just had a grand old time and graduated. Right, didn't have the scores to get any spots on any tournaments or whatever, so I had to kind of try to do it on my own, and then ran out of money. So I had to figure out a way. Oh, how the heck am I going to get money to continue this thing? So that's why I started the social media thing, and it's honestly been cool so far. Definitely going to be excited when I actually start like getting into that 6-figure mark, which is very possible at my rate right now. So that's right there. That's where we're going to head to 100,000 at the end of the year.
There we go.
Mark my word.
Happy to see it, man. Yeah,
But
it's leaps and bounds, dude. It's so cool to see someone's page really just take off through just hard work and solid content. So we'll definitely get into that too. But what a small world, man. I mean, I toured, ironically so, I toured FGCU. My parents thought they were going to move down here earlier than they did, so that was one of my first looks, and kind of had the same thoughts you did with they're D1, right, for golf?
yeah.
So with my high school career and the way everything was going for myself, I mean, it was just a long shot. The campus looked incredible, right? I mean, you got pools all over campus. Like you said, it's on the beach. So, but then now, fast forward to Delhi, where we were, we had a golf house too, and that's exactly what we called it. It was a nice 3-story party house with 8 guys in there, and it's
way too much fun.
Way too much fun and gone too soon. But yeah, that's
good memories.
Definitely, man. It's something we wouldn't trade for the world.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. You go ahead because I was gonna move on topic wise.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like it's something that like you don't want to go back to, right? But you're just so glad.
Yeah.
Like you're like, yeah, I don't seem like I would go crazy if I had to live that all over again. But like, it's fun that it actually happened, and you just smile like.
Yeah, my liver and my sleep schedule definitely applaud me for graduating, but yeah, it's incredible stuff.
I was actually surprised like how many like close calls we had to actually, because we had 6 a.m. workouts, right?
I would.
But we would go during the weekday. Yeah. Like, it was bad. Like 4 a.m. nights, and then have to wake up at 5:40, turn around next day, go or run or whatever it may be. And we only missed one workout just because we stayed up until the workout started. So,
that's cool.
And we were just calling our coach, really, I probably can't make this one. But Halloween, I mean, you can't
Halloween,
schedule.
Man.
Ooh.
It's
Halloween's
University 101.
National
Halloween 101.
Yeah, we might have had some officers of some sort of law up here at our house on Halloween.
A house in town right across from, what was he, the provost or the...
He's like the vice president.
President. It never went well, man. It just... Our house became a spot after a while, and it was tough to turn them away, you know?
For sure. Dude, for some reason, like, our house, the way it was architecturally structured, like, every single door was shut. You could play the music as loud as you possibly want. And for some reason, you can't hear a thing outside. Like, it could be like Club 11 in Miami inside our house. And you just take a step outside, like, literally be outside the front door, just have the door shut. And for some reason, like, it was like a sound barrier. It was incredible. Like, but like, still, I mean, you still have those people that like just leave the door open as soon as they leave, and the neighbors call, and you know, it's a headache, right? But as long as the doors were shut,
that's crazy.
So, with the end of your the last question you just answered, you touched on a goal of 1,000 or 100,000 followers. It kind of ties into our next question here. So what does a typical day for you look like, and what are your goals?
Yeah, so good question. So typical day, I usually wake up at like 5:36-ish and get what I can get done until I have to go to my 9 to 5. And then or 8 to 4. I like to get there a little earlier so I can leave a little earlier. And then I either come back and work out, or I come back and film. So that's pretty much what I do on a daily basis. And it's pretty good so far. obviously I would like to make some more money so I could fully focus on it. So that's why getting to that $100,000 or 100,000 follower mark is extra important for me.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah. So with that follower mark, let me look at my notes real quick. So do you have current goals for like your swing as well? Like what are you working on within your own game? Because I know you do online instruction as
Yeah.
well. We'll hop into that. But how about for you
Yeah.
personally with your game, with balancing the 9 to 5 and your own filming schedule? Like when do you even get time to, put some time into your game?
Oh yeah, of course. Like fortunate enough, I have like a pretty big mirror in my place, and I'm able to do mirror work at night and stuff whenever I'm watching like March Madness, for example, or a football game, whatever. I can't sit in the same spot for more than like a minute or so.
Yeah.
I'm always doing something. So I'm either working on my swing, either editing stuff, or trying to get my students better, right, online, and giving them a online analysis. But yeah, it's been good so far. And I'm working on my swing. So what I'm working on right now is my footwork, actually.
Oh.
So funny enough, you brought up Valspar earlier. So I've been actually fortunate enough to go to Honda Players and Valspar. So whole floor swing without the Bay Hill part, right? But the funny thing, like I was filming Rory, right, and filming like Colin, JT, and all that, and noticed like kind of how their pelvis was moving, how their footwork and leg work was moving. I'm gonna make a post about this soon. I just haven't really. It's hard to describe it. It's easier to see it, kind of thing. I'm sure you could relate.
Yep.
But like, I wasn't doing that, right? Like I was able to shallow it out like super like unnaturally. It'll probably look pretty on camera, right? But like it just wasn't effective, and it didn't create. Like I could swing a lot faster than what I am swinging currently, and I feel like if I implement some more or some better leg work and some better footwork and use the ground more effectively and able to rotate my pelvis in a certain direction, then I'm probably able to get the most out of my swing, and that's kind of what I want, what I'm looking at right now. Because my backswing, like for some reason, like I got the backswing when I was like 20, and like just never really, like I'm able to kind of fix it whenever I want. You just kind of know like how it feels and how it's supposed to feel and how it's supposed to look, and kind of like the little things that you adjust in your head to get it to where that ideal position is. So the backswing's good. It's all about kind of attacking the impact area and kind of the throughout the golf ball. Is what I'm working on right now. So Shaolin Golf Club, working on my leg work and footwork, and able to actually get the most of my swing, get the most amount of speed possible. So speed's huge right now, but obviously consistency is more important. And if I'm able to actually use the ground and use my legs to where I could slot the golf club in the certain position where I want to, then that on a day-to-day basis, I'll be able to do that more consistently instead of trying to manipulate the golf club in the slot position in order for it to look pretty, right?
Right.
That's kind of what I'm working on right now, is to make everything more consistent, eliminate as many variables as possible. I heard this one thing that Bryson said. I'm not like super into Bryson, but this one thing that he was pretty spot on about is golf is a mathematical equation, right? And the more variables you could eliminate in this equation, the better golfer you're going to be. So variables by meaning like, let's say like a slope, or let's say like a certain area in your golf swing, or an extra movement that you have, or a couple frames longer, or your backswing's a couple frames longer than what it necessarily needs to be. So you're kind of overextending, getting a little bit long, and kind of stalling your body out, and then trying to compensate that by backing up and getting out of it. If you could eliminate any extra variables that aren't going to do shit for your golf game, then that's when you actually start improving. That's when you actually start getting the most out of your rounds. So that's what my MO is all about, is just how can I eliminate the most amount of variables possible in my game and other people's game to get the best out of my ability and their ability too. So, and it's all hit or miss too. Like everybody has different swings, everybody has different games, everybody sees and feels different things. So I mean, there's no one cookie cutter system. No matter how many books you read, it's like you kind of have to find a way to kind of communicate that towards other people, and find a way where they could kind of learn on their own and kind of find that sort of those sort of feelings for their own golf swing, to eliminate the most of the variables for their own game so that they could shoot the best rounds possible. So it's all about that. It's like at the end of the day, it's just trying to find the simplest way to approach this complicated game.
Yeah, well said, man. I just want to reiterate for the listeners and for the viewers that don't just take mine and Danny's word for it. Here's another accomplished golfer and instructor that's telling you guys that no matter how much we look at the swing or work on it, like, it's never enough. It's never done, right? Like, you're going to these pro events not only for content and for personal reasons, but to help your viewers and your students as well. Just the little nuances that we can see as accomplished golfers or instructors that the average golfer may not see. And it's mirror work, man. It's simple feels. It's verbiage. Like, that's all our job is to explain a very tough and deep topic in the simplest and shortest manner. And some people are going to be very analytical. Some people are going to be show me, don't tell me. Other people, they're going to need a lot of reinforcement. And we've seen that and know that. But yeah, that's very well said, man. It's a constant grind as a golfer, a coach, and it's a beautiful grind, though, man. Some days can be rough, two opposite ends of the spectrum, myself included. Yesterday, just one of my most strugglesome rounds, while the gentleman to my left fired a nice 66. So we've got golf is a fickle game, man.
Golf is a fickle game. I think the day before the 66, I shot a 78. So it's just
it's just all about trying to find that formula to keep those 66s occurring more often, right? Mm-hmm. But and it's true. It's like the funny thing about that kind of sort of thing, like honestly, Danny, what can you tell me that, like, was your swing any different that day than it was the day before? No, right? Like, was your feeling the same? Probably. I don't know. Maybe it was different. But like, it's funny, like, when people, like, when you see like these interviews that pros do, right, that just come off like a 62 or something, right?
Yep.
And to the next day, the reporter or any junior golfer would tell you, like, oh, I expect to shoot good the next day. Like, I expect if I do the same exact thing that I did today, that tomorrow will look the same exact way. But that's just not absolutely the case at all. It's just like golf is, even if you shoot the same exact score the next day, it's going to look 100,000 times different than it did. Yeah. Like you could be either putting like a god, you could be either ball striking like a champ, and you just maybe not making the putts, maybe making everything. Like, who knows? Like, it's just, everything could be so different than the day before, and the end result could be the same. But just I feel like the mindset is the only thing you can control. And like, if you can control like those expectations and kind of subdue, I don't know if that's a word, if you could kind of, or subsize those expectations day in and day out, and just keep believing in the process and like keep putting in the work, then you'll eventually get to where you want to get. And just know in the back of your mind, like, obviously everybody's going out there to win a tournament, right? Like, it's not like or shooting well, right? Like, whatever your goal is, and like, you don't need to kind of verbalize that, like, it's like, you just need to kind of go about your day and do everything that's smart and necessary to get yourself around for your own specific game, so you can shoot the lowest score possible for that day. Whether it's like, if you're not hitting it on the map and you're spraying it everywhere, whether it's like you're hitting it like a god that day. Like, you just need to kind of do what you got to do to go about that round to get the most out of it. So yeah, the golf's a funny game, man. It's like, and coaching's funny too. Like, even like today, like, if you go back to like the 1960s or 70s or something, and look at swings like Ben Hogan or Sam Snead or something, like, I mean, people are like coaching the same exact thing. Like
Yeah.
this game hasn't changed. Like, it's just the way the different nuances and different verbiage, like you were saying earlier, about like how to actually describe that to people, like certain different feelings, because each of us, and every coach says that they have the fix, right? But like it's impossible to have a fix because everyone's different. We all have different feelings. Like some of us might be visual learners, some of us might be the other way to learn, I forget. Audio learns.
Audio. Yeah.
So it's just completely different, and it's just and it's funny, like the actual technique and like lower body technique hasn't changed at all. Just every coach is like finding a different way to actually describe that. So it's pretty cool.
There's a lot more ways now to measure than there were, and I feel like that's really the only difference we have is to measure in the technology. But other than that,
And going back to what you said, sorry to cut you off. Going back to what you said about like carrying yourself and not necessarily even needing to put it into words what your goal is for that round, or like you said, everyone's trying to win or go low. And Danny and I had that same kind of conversation after the round. Is like we were teammates for the Delhi men's college team, and so I've seen him play a lot of good rounds, a lot of middle of the road rounds, and so it was really cool to see how he changed, or if he did at all change throughout the round in terms of his routine, the time it took over the ball. You can just tell when someone's thinking more than not, and for him it stayed extremely consistent, just like he was shooting a regular even par round by himself. It looked consistent, it was precise, it was timed out. And what'd you hit, 17 greens?
17 greens. Yeah,
17 greens. So if you need to dial those irons in, Danny's your man. But it's it's tough to put into words sometimes. Like it's just,
I think a lot of it is I think a lot of just improving in general over a span of time, or improving and staying consistent in a span of 18 holes. I think it just comes down to self-belief a lot. Like as soon as you get in that mind frame of not letting any doubts creep in, and then you can stay focused, and anytime the doubts do creep in, you just slow down and say, all right, like I got this, and just go. You'll be a lot better then.
Yeah, go back to basics too. I like to, especially when I'm playing like shit, is like just have like a shot where I can go back to, and just trust that shot. Like the worst that's gonna happen is that, like, so for me, for example, I play it like a 30-yard slice with my driver. Whenever things are going to crap, I tee the ball low. I kind of have a helicopter finish, and it looks really weird, right? But I know for a fact that ball is gonna fade. And I could aim down. I could have a lake to my left, right, and like a tight ass fairway. I could aim in the middle of the lake and know for a fact that ball is going to fade to the fairway. And just having something like that, that sort of shot in the back of your bag, is super important, especially when things are not going to plan and you kind of have your C game that day, to where you could just get something in play and give yourself a freaking fighting chance.
Yeah, that's so true. So. Perfect little segue into our next topic, and that would be, what would be your 3 tips given to another fellow instructor that's trying to improve his social media game? I mean, I've seen you take your account from 2,000 or 3,000 to over 16K in a short number of weeks or months. So how do you do that, man? You got the job, you got your own game, you got your outside life. What's the secret?
There's a lot of secrets, and like, it's a really cool. I'm very, very into social media. I study the freaking thing. Like I read articles. Like I study Mr. Beast's stuff, David Dobrik, and I kind of try to apply a similar thing. Not like David Dobrik style, like just like the kind of the little nuances in his posts, in his social media posts, and in his YouTube posts that you kind of recognize. Like it's the same in like a golf swing. If you notice like a certain move that like pretty elite players do, like throughout their golf swing, right? Like if you can kind of break it down and really pick up on these little things, it's kind of just implementing that in the golf industry, and it's been working out pretty well for me. So for example, I said 3 tips. So let's say you got to be consistent, right? So you got to have like a post every day. Like I probably would, if I were starting over, like from like 500 followers, like you hear on TikTok all the time, post 2 to 3 times a day. you don't need to do that per se. Like probably 2 would be good enough if you'd start completely over, and then kind of dial that back, obviously. But you just need to be there consistent for the people that are following you, because at the end of the day, that's a person, right? You need to kind of almost be there for them, right? And it's like, um, and the tip number 2, I'd say, is to like just not care. Like, like honestly, like just don't give a shit what you do. Like, I feel like golf is like one of those things too that like, it's so stuffy, right? And you're so worried about your image and what other coaches are thinking about you, what other players are thinking about you. And I get this way a lot too. Like, I had this problem until I just started not giving a fuck on social media, and it actually translated to my golf game, my personal life. Like, I used to care so much about what people thought about myself and about like what I would do, how I would look, or how my swing would look, what I would shoot, like what my buddies would say after the round. Um, and the minute you could kind of let go of that little devil in the back of your head or whatever, that little subconscious thought of like actually caring or whatever, the minute you could let go of that is the minute that you're probably going to see more success. And then you could kind of let your true self come out and be more authentic. That's probably another good tip too, is to kind of let your personality come out and be let's say be out there for your on your profile. So if you're able to kind of not be fake or anything, and actually like talk how you talk, and yeah, just kind of like that. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. I'm trying to find the right words for it.
Transparent and
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
genuine and transparent. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Transparent. So yeah, if you could just be as transparent as possible, like don't try to hide shit. Don't try to like get away from stuff, or like delete stuff, or like chirp a person that's bashing your content. Like, who cares, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
like at the end of the day, it's good for the algorithm, right? If you guys see
Yeah.
that comment as like something good instead of something negative. So don't give a shit. Be consistent. And I guess the final thing to do is to just switch it up. Like take something that works, right, and don't post that same exact thing every single time. So um, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I get in this funk too, to where I post like similar stuff over a consistent period. And this is what I'm going to try to do this year, is to kind of actually take what's working and just do that, like do that at a very, very little rate, but incorporate a ton of different things from post to post. So for example, I do like a swing analysis of tour pros after they win, which, I mean, when I started, I liked it. I liked the idea, but like the third one that I did just seemed like a little too much. And it just seemed like it wasn't me per se. But I like the idea of analyzing a swing and like my face just appearing at like different places. But I might change up, like, let's say, like the visuals that I have on that swing. So, for example, I'd probably draw more lines or something, have more engagement with questions for the audience, more examples, more comparables, like other tour players doing that. So just like switch it up like that, like always like think on your feet, but just realize like what's working and sticking with that. Like audio is huge. Like I mean, like I told you this earlier. Like, I can't stand the coaches that just do like the finger wave, like, and they do bad swing,
Mm-hmm.
and then they show the correct swing and go the thumbs up. Like people like everyone's doing that, right? Like everyone's doing
Right.
that. So you gotta stand out somehow. Like you're not gonna grow if you don't stand out, and I guess that's my final tip too. So just stand out. Just try to stand out as much as possible. The more polarizing you can be, the more unique you'll be, and that way, your personality will be presented more to the public. So yeah.
Very true, man. I'm a culprit of the point in thumbs up too. I mean, that was such a big trend for a while, and
Huge, yeah.
the algorithm and just the views were so well, because we know that majority of golfers' attention span pretty short. Majority of golfers, they want that quick fix, and I started to notice myself that I was just making content that was trendy and almost forced, because I didn't have that much time to put to it because of other things. And so the content just became trendy and not really even that helpful or that geared towards like a plan. And then I started to come out again with a little bit longer videos, more talking, and actually like almost like a mini series, like putting, how to, beginner stuff, and chronologically do that. And that was when I saw a lot better results, not only in engagement, but people actually taking the time to respond or DM you or just say that they've gotten value. Whereas the other ones, it was, a bunch of saves on these short little videos with no words, but I didn't really feel like my followers were getting enough,
Substance.
enough substance from that, or even enough
Value.
of the right answer. Yeah, just not enough value, and so that's definitely a big thing. Is kind of just taking a step back and being super socially aware of what you're posting, and like you said, how often. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, man. And the value is like the huge topic that I like to address as well. So like the more value you could get out there and provide to your followers, the more inclined they'll be inclined to follow you. I have this rule, I call it the 80-20 rule. So that trendy stuff that you mentioned earlier is super important as well. So I don't want to disregard that on top of that. But if you could just maybe incorporate some audio, that'd be 10 times better. But anyways, I have this rule. It's called the 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of the time I post that trendy stuff that gets the clicks, that gets the eyeballs, that brings the people into your page. And then the other 20% of the time I have that long form content to where I could kind of actually get that kind of Rolodex of content, kind of keep people on my page, on my profile. And then eventually they'll probably follow me if they got enough value on top of that long form content. So yeah, 80-20 rule, 80% that trendy stuff, get the people engaged, get the people, those eyeballs on your profile. And then the 20% is to actually keep those people on your profile and end up getting those followers. And that way, you guys probably have a lot more success. Other coaches will have a lot more success with their content as well.
Definitely. And so what type of platforms are you posting to on a consistent basis? You kind of talked about videos being of varying lengths. So, of course, TikTok's, up to maybe 3-minute videos now. And then Instagram, you can do 10-minute.
Yeah, but TikTok, from what I've been reading, they're going to switch into 10-minute videos, which is pretty crazy.
Wow. That's huge.
I don't know how that's going to be, honestly. But I know for a fact that once you see that option, go and do it. Because TikTok likes to say that they're right, and they'll probably put your video out there to more people if you make a 10-minute video when they first start out, because they want those numbers to be good, and they want that 10-minute, those 10-minute videos to work well for the creators on the platform, so that they'll give you more engagement when that first drops. So keep an eye on that. But to answer your question, the platforms that I post on right now are Instagram and TikTok. I want to get more on TikTok. I've been plateauing a little bit on there. I'm trying to figure out how to get, I feel like I need to hook people in more, but that's another topic at the end of that. But so Instagram and TikTok, I want to get into YouTube. I just don't want to be like the other golfer YouTube dude. Still trying to figure out my unique approach that I could kind of bring to the table. And that's what I was talking about as well. So I got some exciting stuff getting cooked up for this year.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll break some news later on if we end up doing more of these little podcasts. But so TikTok and Instagram. Instagram's kind of dying out, and TikTok's going to take over here pretty soon. It's growing so much, and we haven't even entered the peak yet of this platform. I try to explain this to people. I'm because businesses and coaches don't necessarily understand TikTok right now, right? But if I were to tell you 5 years ago to get on Instagram and to produce swing videos and to give online lessons or swing analysis on Instagram or Facebook 10 years ago or something like that, you look at me like I'm crazy, right? That's just how social platforms work. They go they increase very little bit, and then they have this big increase. And then right here is where everybody realizes, oh, I probably should get on this app and start trying to use this to help my personal business. And TikTok's probably right about here. We're about to see a huge increase in people actually going on this platform. So it's super, super important that coaches post on that platform on a consistent basis to try to gain as much exposure. And because eventually you're probably gonna, if you invest enough time in, if you get like 20,000 or 10,000 followers right now, in like 2 to 3 years you'll probably hit like 500,000. You know, that's how Instagram works. Like people that like had that 20K like 3 to 5 years ago, like are at like 100, like 500,000, like a million right now. You know what I mean? Like it's like just how it works.
Yeah.
It grows so fast. And the funny thing too, like when I was at like, I think when I was like 1,000 and trying to get to 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000, that's like the hardest. Those are the hardest steps right there. The minute you get to 10,000, like when you hit that 10K, like it's so easy from there on out. Like you literally wake up and your phone has like 100,000 notifications. Just you get people liking your stuff, you get people following, you get people engaging, commenting, and whatnot.
Yeah.
I had to like turn off my notifications, but it's a good problem to have.
Humble brag.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I got you.
Like it's hard at the beginning, but that's when everybody gives up, right? You just got to stay that uncomfortable phase to just keep hammering down that content and just stay consistent, and eventually it'll work out if you put enough time into it.
100%, man. Do you have any other topics before we hop into those 3 questions? We don't want to. We're definitely going to have more of these podcasts with you, I hope. So we won't keep you too long tonight. But anything else?
I will just have to. Where are you at in Florida?
Sarasota, Florida. So I'm right.
Is that northern?
I guess technically,
It's like
just say Sarasota.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm right next to IMG Golf Club. So I live like right here. It's nice to have a golf.
Yeah, I think that's it's straight across Florida. It's like probably 2.5 hours, maybe close to 3. But yeah, we'll definitely head that way at some point.
So yeah, these are our little rapid fire final 3 questions for you. You ready? What is one piece of advice you would give to someone that wants to improve their golf game?
What level are we talking?
Let's talk middle of the road, average, weekend,
12 handicap.
Beater.
Yeah.
They're shooting like 84s, 85s.
Yeah, this is going to be a tip for me. Yep.
So yeah, honestly, just hammer 150 yards and in. Like the more or the better you could get from 150 yards and in, the better you'll be. So I like to do this game to where I drop I go out like on my home course and I drop like 5 balls from. I kind of mix it up sometimes. And if you have a TrackMan, this is honestly so easy. Do you guys have a TrackMan?
I do at work, yeah.
Yeah, so you could actually, I don't know, you probably know this already, but you could code games in TrackMan, and you could kind of create games yourself. So me in college, so when I got really good in college is when I actually started practicing like effectively and using TrackMan and stuff. So I made this game to where I called the Birdie Maker game. And it was from 50 yards to 150 yards. And it had variants of, or gaps of 10 yards in between. So 50, 60, 70, 80, all the way up to 150. And I would hit 5 balls from each gap, but TrackMan would randomize it. So one gap I would have 83 yards, and then the next shot it would be like 142 or something like that, for example. So the better you can get at those distances, the better you'll be. And going back to, if you don't have a TrackMan, I love to do this game anyways, even though I do have a TrackMan. I like to drop like a couple balls from 100 yards and 150 yards every single hole that I play, just if I'm just messing around out there by myself. So I drop like 3 balls, right? And I give myself a score at the end of those 9 holes. So I drop 3 balls from 150, 3 balls from 100. And some days it could be, if I did that a couple days in a row, I'll drop it from 110 and then drop it from like 140, or drop it from 70, drop it from, you know what I mean? You just kind of feel it out. And I don't like to do too much as well, just because the more you do, the more of it seems like work. And I like to have fun out there. So I dropped 3 balls from 100, 150 for this example. So I give myself points. So if I get it inside a flag stick length, that's 2 points. If I get it within 2 flag stick lengths, that's 1 point. And if I get it in within a club or a driver length, the length of my driver, that's 5 points. But if I miss the green, it's -1. So I count up all my points at the end of those 9 holes, and that's my score. And I kind of make sure I keep tally my score in my notes app on my phone. I use my notes app a lot, and I make sure I go out next time I go out on the course late in the evening. I try to beat that score. So no matter what the yardage is, from 50 to 100 yards, like I know that's going to translate into the rest of my game. So whether it's 70 yards or 100 yards, that score is going to be pretty correlated to like how I'm actually going to play. Let's say I have a tournament later that week or something like that. So I try to beat my personal score. So it's very, very important not to compare yourself against buddies or tour pros on TV or something like that. Like you just try to get a little bit better each day, and try to beat your personal best. So whether it's playing that little game, whether it's making up your own game, whatever it may be, you just try to beat yourself day in and day out. And if you do that over a stretch of like 5 to 10 years, then you'll probably offer.
Yeah, no doubt. I love that, man. That's very cool. That's intuitive. I like that. And we got to talk more about the TrackMan game at some point. I want to see how to do that.
It's pretty easy. Like once, like it's just like I think it's like a button that like you never think about. You never think to press it, but once you press it, you're just like, what the hell? Like, what is it? It's like this is a game changer. Like, and it is a game changer. It could change your game. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's honestly the best thing ever. You could get really creative with the names. I had this other game where I had like 50 to 100 yards. I called it 𝐻𝐢𝐿𝐈𝐥𝐸𝐴TION, and you get your pitching dialed in that way. So it's pretty fun to do, and practice never gets boring if you can do that sort of work. So that's how you saw DJ get really good too. He was able to actually like hit those pitch shots, actually say the number in his head before it getting read back to him when he was working Butch. I don't know if you saw those clips where it was really, really cool. And he would just play a game toward himself to where he would say like, oh, I carried like 74 yards, and he was like 75. Like, and he's like, oh, damn. Yeah. But he got super good, and he ended up being number 1 in the world. So I guess as if it works for him, it's going to work for a lot of people.
Yeah, we're on to something.
And just to touch on what you were saying about practicing, I think that's a really important thing for higher handicappers to start to understand. It's just patience is kind of a virtue in the aspect of if you can just, I like that you were just talking about beating yourself. If you can just do that every day and stay focused doing that, you're going to be a lot better off. I think you see a lot of people that compare themselves with their buddies or, get down on themselves quickly just because they don't see that immediate perfection, whereas it's really not a game of perfection. It's a game of growth and improvement.
Yeah, we live in such a fast society nowadays. Like if you don't see results after like a couple tries, like people give up, get frustrated, whatever it is. And it's just like that's like not the case at all in anything like to get better in, let alone one of the hardest games in the world. But yeah, it requires a lot of patience and trust.
Definitely. Next one. What is your craziest golf story?
Like golf round or just golf story or
golf related? Anything that jumps here.
Could be a golf house story. Could be your lowest round. Who knows, man?
We won't go down that route. Craziest golf story. So this is pretty, I guess, crazy. It's pretty funny, but like when I first moved to Florida, right? I had no idea about thunderstorms or anything, and you hear this. I would play with like one of my good friends, James Leather, when I was describing earlier. And we would go out and play late in the evening and go around and play through rainstorms or whatever. And I hear thunder. And I'm like, oh shit. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's far away. And I guess this course didn't have a siren or whatever. And I was like freaking out, right? Because I'm just from a Cali kid, like I had no idea what thunder was or lightning or any of that stuff. So I was like, are you sure it's okay? Are you sure it's okay? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. So we're playing. We keep hearing thunder. It's getting louder. And then like we were playing this hole, and then in my backswing, I just see this big flash, like you get flashbang in Call of Duty, right? And this tree like blows up, like probably like 100 yards or like 50 yards in front of us. Like it blows up, and we were just scared shitless, and we were just running Inside the clubhouse. I think luckily it was on the 18th hole, so we weren't far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just crazy. Like, and from there on out, like that's like when I first moved to Florida, so it's like a welcome to Florida moment. But from there on out, like I was like, yeah, if I hear any sort of thunder, I'm like checking the weather app, making sure how far it is, if I'm okay.
Yeah.
Out of
So
Yeah.
my takeaway from that story is just you mentioned you weren't familiar with thunderstorms. You're from California. Are they not typical
Dude,
in
no,
California?
if it
Really?
it rained all day too. Like that's the funny thing. Like here, it just has like those hour showers in the summer, right? And in California, no. If it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain like for all day or 3 to 4 days. Like it's nuts. Like there's no such thing as thunderstorms over there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never would have known that. Never.
We'll throw a clip in because Danny's got that rude awakening to the changing weather of Florida as well. We've played probably out of the 5 rounds we played, got absolutely dumped on the 3 rounds, and I mean it was like the 17th hole, the 18th hole, and I don't know if we got rained on early in the round before, but like straight sideways rain, clouds open up. Wasn't any thunder or lightning recently, right?
No, nothing.
But wow,
huge raindrops. Like
the flag is just bent over, man. We're trying to film and finish, and it's just it's torrential.
Was this last week during like those crazy rainstorms?
Yeah, all last week.
Like I was at the Players, like the worst day possible, of course, right? And it was like Friday, and it was nuts. Like it was nuts. And then the next day, like the wind was like crazy. It was hilarious trying to see those guys hit a shot on that 17th green, which is like normally a pitching wedge. And then you got guys out there. You got JT hitting a 6-iron into that green. This is absolutely insane. Trying to flight that, taking some spin off. And it's pretty cool. You really got to know your swing for that kind of stuff. And going back to like being able to handle shots under pressure, like a good thing that I should have started doing, like as a junior golfer, and if any junior golfers listen to this, they need to start doing it as well, is to actually be able to control your swing at different yardages. So like, for example, today, like I'm not necessarily swinging the best, but you kind of got to fight through the pain to get to the gold, right? So I would take like a 6-iron from like 150 yards and try to take a full swing and have it land 150 yards onto the green. And you really, really know like where you're messing up in your golf swing when you slow it down like that, and where you're able to kind of like try to time the face and try to square up the face in that like less swing speed area, to where like you don't just go full throttle, because it's easy to just swing all out full send and have your body just react. That's another thing, to actually slow it down and just to feel everything in your body. You really get to know everything, and the minute you could do that, the minute you could start actually controlling your shots, like with that kind of understanding of your own body, your own golf swings. The minute like pressure, like let's like lean a golf tournament, like within like a couple holes, like that's nothing. Like your golf swing in and out, like like what you need to feel, how your body needs to react, like throughout the millisecond of your golf swing to be able to produce the shot that you want. So it's like those sort of things that are like massive for improving golf. And I'm figuring this out just like everybody else is. Like you just day in and day out, you figure some new stuff out that you can try and to improve.
Definitely, that's I like doing these slower motion drills. They're great ways to start to get a feel of face control.
Yeah, that's
a lot of people don't. Yeah,
like if you can know where your face is, if you get a little bit off, you know how to get back to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, and that's a big feel as well. Like you talked about earlier, when you start to feel your backswing. A lot of times when your backswing feels off, it's just because your face is off.
Yeah, it's different for everybody. Like you can't tell like your students or whatever like how to feel their backswing, because it's different feelings. Like and they can only tell themselves that. So it's comes with the work, comes with slowing your swing down and really being conscious about like what you're feeling through your golf swing, and if your feelings are actually translate to what it actually looks like. And that's when you're kind of you're firing on all cylinders there.
Yeah.
All right, this last one is a T-ball question here. What is your favorite hobby outside of golf?
Favorite hobby, I like editing, filming stuff. Getting really into that lately. Just learning about a lot of new stuff. I'm upgrading my camera, so I got to learn how to actually edit using like DaVinci or Adobe Pro, the actual real way to edit stuff instead of like just using my phone app that I use. So that takes a lot of time out of my hands right now. Other stuff, I mean, I love golf. Like it's tough. Like whenever I'm like just hanging out, I like to go to the beach. I like to hang with friends. Not a big video game guy. I was never good at it, so it was hard for me to get into it. So I was frustrated that I sucked, so I just stayed away from it, I guess. I like football. Like gambling on sports. That's illegal in Florida, but yeah, whatever. But like gambling on sports, talk with my buddies about it and stuff, and yeah.
Who's your team for football?
The Niners. We got this.
Attaboy. We've talked about that before. We got a Niners
It's right here.
sign right there. I
Oh,
won't show it, but yeah.
Dude, what do you think about Trey Lance? I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude.
I'm I wish I could say I follow it more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
I'm a Rams fan, so
You're a bandwagon, huh?
yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, but
I'm a big Matt Stafford fan.
sorry?
I'm a big Matt Stafford fan, so.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, he's a good dude. Seems like a good guy.
Any other closing topics, Daniel?
I think we're all set.
All set, brother. Well, Remick, we truly appreciate your time. This is going to be the little section here where you can feel free to kind of plug anything you're working on, anything that you're allowed to talk about, man. I know you've got some online instruction. You've got your great social platforms. I don't know if you can get into the logistics of what you're working on behind the scenes, but if you can, feel free to plug that now. And then, of course, in our intro, we'll have a lot of good stuff about you there as well.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I don't like to like set expectations too high. I like to like kind of like underachieve and overachieve expectations, right? But yeah, just follow CEO Golf, DM me, say what up, I'll DM you back, and we'll start a conversation. But yeah, love providing value to everybody, and love trying to grow this game as much as possible, because this game has given me so much over the years. So that's my whole thing, and try to do everything I can to accomplish that. So 100,000 this year, mark my words, it's going to happen. We're going to get there for Instagram and TikTok. It's going to be great. Invest.
I believe it, brother.
Invest now, you'll hold, and then your stock's going to increase.
There we go, man. Well, we truly appreciate your time, your insight for everything. For our listeners out there, there's going to be a lot more episodes like this. We love us some Remick. He's very insightful and just another cool dude to hang out with some good flow. So
I
think that's all we got, brother.
That the other day, I cut a little bit of it. It was getting a little too long.
Really?
But yeah, because I have like stupid straight hair, so I have to like wear a hat like constantly to try to have any sort of flow.
Yeah.
But so I had to cut a little bit, so I'm a little sad, but we'll grow it back out. Come time.
There we go. Mine's the opposite. Mine's thick hair, so it just kind of stays. It literally just stays the whole time, and it definitely needs a trim, man. What's up?
Try a mullet, dude. It'll look good.
I might have to shave the lines in the side, go old school hockey look. You know, the old we're going to state championships, high school hockey. Might have to dye it pink tips. Who knows?
A way to stand out. I mean,
hey, we got to do it. Got to get the followers somehow, man. All right, brother. We appreciate your time, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Peace and love, baby.
Peace. Brother.
Contraband got that dope.
Sometimes I don't feel alright. New girl on my face, she said she nigga, but that's why I don't feel alright. Catch me in the good mood, I just might. Stop talking, I'm breaking the bank.